All right, hey guys, welcome to the Argumentative Essay MLA formatting video. So first things first, before we start, make sure that you have a title or a name for your Google Doc, okay? For this, I would put it as Arg Essay and then your first name and your last name, just so it's super easy to find and it's also easier for me to look at when I'm grading. All right, so what you guys see here is a little sample essay that I have built for you guys, and currently it doesn't have any MLA formatting happening on it. Okay, so I'm going to go from top to bottom through the MLA formatting section of the rubric. So the first part of the MLA formatting section on the rubric says, are the margins the correct width, which should be 1 inch on all sides of the page. The good news is Google Docs automatically makes everything 1 inch in the margins, so you don't even have to do anything for that. You automatically will get a 10 out of 10 if you don't mess with the margins at all. The second thing is the entire document in Times New Roman font. Google Docs automatically makes everything in Arial, so we have to change that to Times New Roman. So go ahead and copy everything or highlight everything. Go up to Font and change it to Times New Roman. All right, keep everything highlighted. The next question is the entire document in size 12? Google Docs also makes everything only be size 11, so you need to bump it up one size to size 12. Now we have the first 3 things done. All right, the fourth question says, is the entire document double-spaced? It's not automatically going to do that, okay? You have to do it yourself, but here's the deal. Double-spaced does not mean you are hitting the space bar in between every word. Double-spaced means there will be an empty line that you can't click on and you can't type on in between all of your lines of things that you have typed. So to do that, we're going to come right up here to line and paragraph spacing. It's the 3 lines with the up and down arrow next to it. Click on that and then go to double and click double. Now when I click on this, it's going to make everything way longer and it should bump things to a second page as well. So as you can see, there's empty space now in between my lines that I have typed, but it's not even a thing that you can click on so that nothing gets added in the wrong spot. Everything is just 100% double spaced from top to bottom. All right, the next question says, are there correct MLA page numbers? So to do the MLA page numbers, they have to be on the top right side of every page, and it says in the Google Doc header. So to get to the Google Doc header, I'm going to go to the top of my first page. I'm just going to click up here in this empty spot, double click, and it will open up the header. So now everything that you type will show up in the header. What we're going to do is come over to where it says Options, click that little drop down arrow, and we're going to click Page Numbers. Now we're leaving it on header because we want it to be on the top of the page. If we clicked footer, it would be on the bottom. So leave it on header. We're going to show it on this first page, and we are starting at page number 1. So we're just going to click Apply. Now, currently, we have the page number, but it's on the top left of the page. We need it to go to the top right. So what I'm going to do is come up to Align and Indent, and I'm going to click Right Align. It's going to move it to the right corner of my page. All right, now the thing after that is, in front of the page number, you need to have your last name capitalized and then a little space before the page number. So now, once I click out of the header, this is what it should look like, okay? And it should be on every single page with the new page number of every page. So if you had a third page, it would say last 3. Up here it says last 2, and up here it says last 1. All right, the other thing that we need to not forget is this also should be Times New Roman, font size 12, so go ahead and fix that real quick. All right, the next question on our rubric says, is the MLA header correct? Now, the MLA header is different than the header of the Google Doc that we had to click into, okay? If you type things in the Google Doc header like this, whatever you type will show up on every single page, okay? It will automatically copy and paste itself onto the top of every single page. We don't want all of these 5 lines right here to be on the second page and the third page and the fourth page if you have a fourth page. We only need it to be on the first. So type outside of this header. Make sure you're not in the Google Doc header. So the first line is going to have your first name and your last name, both capitalized. Then after that, it's going to have my name. So you're just going to put Miss.Fager. And then after that, the class name. So for this, you're just going to put 9th grade lit. And then underneath that, the date. And it should be the date of when this paper is due. So for this essay right now, it is 12 February 2025. All right, the good news is we are leaving these first 4 lines on the left side of the page. So once you have all of this typed, you're just going to bump down to your next line. All right, is the MLA title correct? So the MLA title goes on exactly the next line after the date, okay? It should not be moved down like that. It should not be up here like this where it's on the same line. It has to be one line underneath the date. The next thing is it has to be in the center of the page. So I'm going to click right in front of my title, come back up here to align and indent, and I'm going to hit center align only on my title. That's the only thing that goes in the middle of the page. All right, the next thing is all words except for articles, so the and a and conjunctions, so and, but, or, things like that. Every other word has to be capitalized in a title. So just like this, my word are is not capitalized, but everything else is. Then again, everything should just be Times New Roman and size 12. Mine is right now. And the most important thing is you cannot make your title look more fancy by hitting bold or italics or underline or changing the color or changing the font size or anything like that. It has to just be plain like the rest of the text is. All right. The next question says, is the full essay at least 5 paragraphs long? It's okay if it's not 5 paragraphs right at this exact second because you guys are still working on it and finishing it up. But by the end of it, it does need to be 5 paragraphs. So the next question after that says, is the first sentence of each paragraph indented? So what we're going to do is click on the first sentence after your title, the first sentence of your introduction paragraph. Right in front of it, click that. You are going to hit the button in the top sort of left side of your keyboard that says Tab, T-A-B. If you click that one time, it will automatically move over about 1/2 inch, 0.5, as you can see up here. And then you only have to hit that one button, and you can do that for every single first line of every single paragraph so that they're all going to be the same length over to the right of the page a little bit. So I'm going to do that for all of my paragraphs. Okay, this is how you tell where each paragraph starts, or where each new paragraph starts. All right. So see on my page I have my paragraph 5, my paragraph 4, paragraph 3, paragraph 2, and paragraph 1 up here. All right, the next question right underneath that says, is there no empty space, so no lines without words between paragraphs? I just want to make sure that you don't have any empty space. So what that means is you should not have an empty line that you could click on and type on in between your paragraphs, okay? It should not look like this. That is too much empty space because it's already double spaced. So if you have those lines right now, go ahead and delete them. That's why we indent the first line of every new paragraph. All right, the next question says, are all the paragraphs aligned to the left of the page? You should have not messed with the alignment of the paragraphs. They should automatically just be aligned to the left side, but just in case, you might have bumped that center button. If it looks like this and some short things are in the middle of the page, go ahead and go back up to Align and Indent and click Left Align. All right, the next question says, are the in-text citations correct? So in-text citations are you citing the sources that you used inside of your text or inside of your essay. So for me, my first citation is this right here. You have your quote, you open with quotation marks, you put the words that you took from that website or from that source, you close quotation marks, you don't put a period yet, you're going to open parentheses, and then you are going to include either the last name of the author, or if there wasn't one author listed, the full title of the article that you found. Then once you've included that, you're going to close parentheses, and then you're going to finish out the sentence with a little period after you've closed the parentheses. So for all of your pieces of in-text citations, all of your quotes, okay, there's going to be one in your first body paragraph, a second one in your second body paragraph, and then in your third body paragraph, there's actually going to be two. First, there's going to be one that goes with your counter evidence and your counterclaim. And then there's going to be the fourth and final one, which goes with your claim. For every single one of these, you have to make sure that there are starting and ending quotations around the quote that you used. There has to be either the name of the author or of the article title in the parentheses. You have to make sure that there are parentheses that exist, both opened and closed, around that last name or that title of that article. Make sure that the names are capitalized, right? Whether it's the person's last name, that is a proper noun, or titles. Make sure you are capitalizing things properly. And then make sure that you never ever put any kind of punctuation anywhere until the very end of that citation, once you are done and you have closed the parenthesis. All right, once you have done that for all 4 of your quotes that you should have in this essay, then we're going to scroll down to the works cited page. So first of all, the works cited page is always going to be on its own on the very bottom or the very last final page of your whole document. So in this case, for me, all of my 5 paragraphs are just on a page 1 and a page 2. So my works cited page is going to be on my page 3. So first things first, make sure that you continue to have your page numbers with your last name capitalized, the correct page number, and it being Times New Roman font size 12. If you haven't created any of your citations yet, you can go to the page in your planning packet right before this one, essay checkpoint number 4, and it shows you how to create the citations on Google Docs using a little checklist that I've created for you guys. And then the back side of that page also shows you what the works cited page should end up looking like once you're done with all of the MLA formatting. So I'm going to show you guys real quick how I created my citations. So first you're going to go up to Tools, the Tools button. You're going to click that. It's going to open up a drop down, and you're going to click on Citations. When you click that, it's going to open up this little space on the right side of your screen. You're going to go to Add Citation Source. Now, all of you guys did not use books, so we're just going to open up that drop down and we're going to click Website because that's what all of you guys used for your research. Now, you have two options. You can either copy and paste a link for a website that you have into this search with a URL button and then hit search, and then it might have a full citation automatically pop up for you. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to cite manually because sometimes it won't create the full citation for you. So I'm going to click Cite Manually. And for this, there's certain things that have a little blue asterisk next to them that they really, really want you to fill out if you have that information. So I'm just going to use this final one. I know I already created it, but I'm going to show you guys how I did that. So first you have the first name, and that means the first name of the author if it has one person as the author. Now, if it doesn't have the person as the author, you can click where it says author, and you can actually change it to corporation/organization instead of author by just clicking the little checkbox right here. Then you could type in the name of the organization or like the name of the people that built the website. But for this, I have a person's name, so I'm going to type that in right here. So his first name was Arnold, and his last name was Brewer. Obviously, make sure things are capitalized. All right, then it's going to ask you for the title. And what that means is the title of the individual article that you read and got your information from. So for this one, it was an encyclopedia of elephants. And we don't even have to include the quotation marks because it will add that in for you. So just type the title of the article, and remember also to capitalize the things that need to be capitalized. All right, then you're going to put the website title, and so this can be kind of the organization of the people that made that website. So for this, I'm just going to put in the family Elephantidae. And then last but not least, we have the actual URL link. All right, once you've done this, you can go in and put the year that it was published. If you have that information, most of you should. It should be on the credible sources page, which was the checklist or checkpoint part 1 page from last week. You can also put the accessed day or the day that you accessed that information for the first time, which would probably be one of the days next week. The accessed month would be February, and then the accessed year would be 2025 because it's this year. You can add all that information in if you want to. Then once you have all of that information, you're just going to hit the Add Citation Source button, and it's going to give you this huge, long thing. This is what I mean by the complete citation, okay? instead of just having the link to the website, it's going to be all of this information. Look at that, I spelled encyclopedia wrong. It's going to be all of this information. All right. So long story short, once you have all of your long citations created, here's what we're going to do. Step number 1 at the bottom of our rubric page says, once you have all of the complete citations, not just the URL links, you have to actually go to the URL links for each one and make sure that each URL link can be turned into a complete link that you can click on. So to do that, you're going to go to the end of each one, click right after the last period, and hit the space bar one time, and then it will turn each one into a complete link that you can click on to go to that website. All right. After you have done that, the next step is that all citations must be listed from the top of the page to the bottom of the page alphabetically. So what that means is the very first letter of each citation, which is the name of the author or the title if there wasn't one author, that letter is going to be alphabetized from the top of the page to the bottom of the page. So for me, my first thing is Brewer, the one that I just made. So I'm going to go up to the top of the page and I'm going to paste that here first. Now my next one is Johnson. So I'm going to copy Johnson and I'm going to put that second after Brewer. All right, then Michaels and Williams actually just happen to be in order, so I'm keeping those how they are. So from top to the bottom of the page, we have beginning of the alphabet going down to the end of the alphabet. All right, the next question is, are the citations listed on the left side of the page? They should automatically be on the left side and not centered, but if they are centered and they look like this right now, go ahead and go up to align and indent and hit left align so that they are all moved to the left side of that page. And then the very last question for this works cited page for these citations right now is each citation set up as a hanging indentation of 0.5 inches? Now, this is something that's new to you guys, so let me show you how to do this. So you're going to highlight only one source, only the first source that you want to click on. You're going to come up to the top left side of your screen and you're going to hit Format. Once you hit Format, you're going to go to Align and Indent. And then you're going to come over to this little drop down. Be careful not to click out of it or it will close everything. And you're going to hit Indentation Options. All right, you're going to come down to where it says Special Indent and hit Hanging. And then we want it to be 0.5 inches. So we're going to type 0.5 right there. Then we're going to click Apply. So as you can see, what this does is it makes a hanging indentation. So the first line is all the way to the left margin on the left side of the page. And then everything that is part of that indentation, but is on other lines underneath that, is moved over by 0.5 inches or half of an inch. So now we have to do that for all of the other sources as well. So highlight your next one, go to Format, Align and Indent, Indentation Options, Hanging, 0.5, and Apply. And then go ahead and do that for all of your other sources as well. Align and Indent, Indentation Options, Hanging, 0.5, and one more time. Format, Align and Indent, Indentation Options, Hanging, and 0.5. All right. Once all of your sources look like this, you are officially done with the whole front page of the rubric. Now we need to go to the other side of the rubric page, the back side. And the very first thing it's asking us is the works cited page in MLA format? So what that is asking is everything on this page going to follow MLA formatting rules? So thing number one, is it by itself on the last page of your Google Doc? Your essay should be on like 1 to 2 pages, maybe on a third if your sentences are really long, that's okay. But then everything else should just be only on one final page of your document. There shouldn't be anything underneath it or any more pages after it. The next thing says, does it say works cited at the top middle of the page? Right now, mine doesn't. So what I'm going to do is hit enter and bump my first source down a little bit. I'm going to go to Align and Indent, hit Center Align, and I'm going to type works cited, because that's the title for this page that's showing up. The next question is everything in Times New Roman and size 12? Right now everything is in Arial and size 11, so I'm going to fix that. The next thing is nothing on the page is in bold, italics, or underlined. With the exception of our URLs, obviously. This is not actually spelled wrong, it's just the way that this word works. After that, we got to make sure there is a correct page number on the top right of the page with your last name capitalized and the number of the page that we are on. All right, the last thing that I actually did not include on here is we have the same rules as far as line and paragraph spacing. So go ahead and make sure that everything is double spaced. And then we also don't want any empty spaces or empty lines in between our sources. So go ahead and remove all of those. All right, once your works cited page looks pretty much just like mine, that means you are good with your works cited. All right, the last 3 questions are really more so relating to things that you have typed in your essay. So in the body part of your essay, your 5 paragraphs that you typed, you need to make sure, first of all, are there no personal pronouns? So because this is a formal style piece of writing, you are not ever supposed to use I or me or my, and you're also not supposed to mention that this thing is an essay, okay? So never ever say, in this essay, okay? You never mention that the thing is an essay or that you are a person who's writing it. It's almost like you are so smart, this goes beyond you and beyond this essay. And then the last 2 questions are, did you use correct capitalization throughout the whole essay? And did you use correct punctuation? So that is something that you're going to have to figure out yourself through your typing of your 5 paragraphs. But just remember, all of the things that you need to make sure you include or not include are listed on this rubric. So for capitalization, every single first word of every sentence is always going to be capitalized, and every proper noun is also going to be capitalized. So people's names, names of places, anything that is a proper noun. And then lastly, for punctuation, make sure that there's always going to be a punctuation at the end of every sentence. Put commas where there needs to be commas, okay? Make sure there's not any run-on sentences. A run-on is a super long sentence. So please make sure that you are trying to put commas and periods and question marks where those things belong, okay? And then last but not least, also just make sure for punctuation, you always have a space after a punctuation, but never before a punctuation. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take this word right here, sadly, comma, right? You should never ever have a word and then a space and then a punctuation. That is incorrect. Punctuation always goes right up next to a letter, and then you're going to put a space, and then there will be the next word or the beginning of the next sentence. Okay. All right. So long story short, once you have gone through this entire video, you follow along with me up until this point, and you believe that everything looks just like mine does here, and everything is correct in an MLA format, then it is your turn to read through the argumentative parts, make sure you have included all of those things, and once you think you are done with all of this, go ahead and have a peer review and read your essay and have them fill out this rubric for you. So that way someone else's eyes are on your writing and someone else can tell you, hey, you are missing this thing or you're not missing anything, okay? If you are missing anything, you're gonna have to come back to it tomorrow or tonight for homework and fill out or include and edit in the things that your peer has told you you're currently missing. All right? Once you're done with everything, the peer review has been filled out, and you've added or made any final changes or edits from this peer review page, then you can show it to me one final time if you are able to do that. And then you're going to go into Canvas and just submit your final essay submission. All right? So hopefully this video was super helpful, and hopefully you feel accomplished with your final essays.